Within the idea of personalized learning is the idea of standards-based grading. And these are not two separate projects, but they're really the same, or one falls within the other one. Let me refer back to our definition of personalized learning. Student achievement of academic standards is our purpose. We should never, ever assign a grade to anything that doesn't match our standards. And Lindy, would you like to tell us more about that?
I'd be happy to. So in our current system in Encore, in this next year, teachers are going to be asked to attach standards to every assessment that they assign a student. There may be multiple standards that are attached to one assessment so that a teacher can accurately report to a student and to the parents what that student can demonstrate, what that student knows, what that student can do. There are some things that we need to help you do that more effectively. The first thing that we need is make sure all of our standards are loaded into Encore and into Canvas. We also have to identify priority standards. We can't teach every standard that is in the Utah State Core to proficiency. We can teach priority standards to proficiency. So pacing guides will be created with teachers and with central office staff so that that's mapped out in the course of a full year. As well as with a pacing guide, we need proficiency rubrics. A proficiency rubric will tell a student, a parent, and also a teacher at what level the student can demonstrate understanding of that priority standard. We need to have a body of evidence for students. Now, in some subjects, English, math, and science, we have state assessments that give us an indication of student proficiency, but that's not the only indication, and that's not the only thing that we want to center our focus on. So what are other pieces of evidence that a student could put together to show that they really have proficiency or mastery of that particular standard? This is not going to take just a month or two. This is going to take several years. And as we're working on all of these, we're going to be working on the gradebook, as well as training rolled out to teachers, and as well as communication to parents and to our community, so that there are parallel information and parallel resources to support all of that work that we're doing with standards-based grading, which really leads us to have a personalized learning experience for every student.
I'm just recently out of the classroom, and this year our department decided to implement standards-based grading as a whole. And with our standards-based grading, it was something that was a tremendous help for all the students and parents to understand where they were at, whether they were proficient, exactly what they needed to work on. We could provide the interventions, we could provide that extra help, and they knew exactly what they needed to do to become proficient.
Imagine a world in which a parent or somebody in a college advisement office or somebody goes to a student and says, "How are you doing in your math class?" And that kid doesn't say just, "Well, I'm getting a B+." But the kid says, "I'm getting a B+. And I'm really good at geometry and measurement, but I'm working on my ratios and proportional reasoning. And the real world stuff is kind of, I'm getting there, I'm making some progress on the application piece of what we're learning. But I'll tell you what, my strengths in data and statistics and analysis and geometry and measurement are pretty remarkable." That's a way better environment to put our kids in. That's way better information for kids, it's better information for parents, it's better information for teachers, and we don't lose the fact that the kid's still getting a B+, and this kid still has a GPA of a 3.84, and can still apply for scholarships, and can still go to college, and we're not taking away any of those opportunities, but we're just giving better, richer, more detailed information to people about what students can do and what they know. And that allows teachers to then turn around and personalize. Because once the teacher knows that I'm good at geometry and that I'm struggling with ratio and proportion, maybe there's an activity out there that can build on my strengths but also address some of the things that I'm weak in. Takes some time, takes some effort, we've got a big learning curve, but the potential for this means a huge, remarkable difference in the service pattern that we're giving our students.
Imagine how our parent-teacher conferences would change. would we hear conversations about points and what students had to do in relationship to points to get certain grades? Or just imagine if those conversations were standards-based and directed at what the student needed to know and be able to do in order to get a better grade. So we move away from points and we talk more about standards.